Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the tech you use literally every single day. We're talking about that invisible force that makes your computer, well, a computer. Let's find out who's really running the show.
So, let me ask you something. What do you think is the single most important program on your phone or your laptop right this second? Is it your web browser, your favorite game, maybe TikTok or Instagram? Well, the real answer is probably something you never, ever think about.
That's because inside every device you own, there's a hidden boss, a kind of director or manager that's running the entire show from behind the scenes. This is the unsung hero of your computer.
You see, all software kind of splits into two big categories. On one side, you have application software, your apps. Just think of those as the actors on a stage. But they can't do a single thing without the director, the stage crew, and the theater itself. And that's the system software. That's what we're digging into today.
So what exactly is system software? Well, the best way to think about it is like the central nervous system for your device. It's this invisible web that connects absolutely everything and makes it all work together. We're talking from the moment you press a key, to the pixels lighting up your screen, to the millions of calculations happening inside the processor. It's the collection of programs that truly brings the machine to life.
Now, the biggest, most important piece of that system software is the operating system, or just the OS. And believe me, its to-do list is huge. It's like a master juggler, a traffic cop, and a universal translator all rolled into one. So let's check out some of its biggest jobs.
Okay, so job number one, and maybe the most important of all, is that it has to create a bridge between you and the machine. The OS builds what's called a user interface that lets you, a person, give instructions to a ridiculously complex piece of electronics.
And the OS gives you two main ways to have that conversation. Over on the left is the graphical user interface, or GUI, which, is what most of us know and love. It's visual, it's intuitive, you point and click on things. But on the right, you have the command line. Now, it might look a little intimidating, but it gives you incredible power and precision by letting you type commands directly to the computer. Both of these are bridges built by the OS.
Your computer is also constantly juggling data. It uses super fast memory, called RAM, for all the tasks you're doing right now. But here's the thing, you never have enough of it. So what happens when it gets full? The OS performs this little magic trick called virtual memory. It cleverly carves out a piece of your much larger hard disk to use as an overflow area, and it swaps data back and forth seamlessly. That little secret is what lets you have 50 browser tabs, a video call, and a game all running at once.
The OS also has to coordinate every single task. Have you ever sent 5 different documents to the printer all at once? You don't get a jumbled mess of pages, right? You get 5 perfectly printed documents, one right after the other. That's the OS acting like a traffic cop, creating a queue and making sure every single task gets processed in an orderly, civilized fashion.
But, just like in a movie, you have to cast the right hero for the right role. Not all operating systems are built for the same job. Depending on the device, whether it's a giant server, a desktop PC, or the phone in your pocket, you need a different kind of OS in charge. We can basically group them into 3 main families. First, you've got your desktop operating systems. That's the familiar world of our laptops and home PCs. Then there are the server operating systems. These are the serious heavy lifters that run in the background, managing websites and entire company networks. And of course, there are the mobile operating systems, which are built specifically for touchscreens and the limited battery life of the powerful little computers we carry around.
On the desktop, for instance, you have an absolute design icon like Apple's Mac OS. It didn't just create a user interface, it basically set the standard for what people expect from a personal computer. The idea that it should be intuitive and visual and just welcoming. It's what popularized the whole idea of a GUI for millions of us.
But then you have a totally different kind of hero for the desktop, Chrome OS. Its whole philosophy is radical simplicity. By focusing almost entirely on the web browser and cloud-based apps, it just strips away everything else. And the result? A system that's incredibly fast, super secure, and dead simple, which completely rethinks what a desktop OS even needs to be.
And of course, in the mobile world, the hero for the huge majority of devices is Android. It's an open-source system, and that is the key to its success.
It means Google makes the core of it available for any company to use and change as they see fit. That flexibility is exactly why you find Android on just countless different phones and tablets from hundreds of different brands.
Okay, so the operating system is the star of the show. It's the director. But you know what? Even the best director needs a top-notch support crew. And this is where the second part of system software comes in, the utility programs.
So what are these utility programs? Well, if the OS is the general manager of the whole operation, you can think of utilities as the specialists that it calls in for very specific jobs. Hey, you need to organize the warehouse? Call the file manager. Need to clean things up to make them more efficient? Call the disk cleaner. They're these focused, powerful tools that keep the whole system running smoothly.
You use this first utility all the time, probably without even realizing it. The file manager. Seriously, just imagine for a second if all of your documents, your photos, your downloads were just dumped in one giant, messy pile. It would be completely unusable. The file manager is the tool that brings order to that chaos, letting you make folders, find what you need, and build a digital space that actually makes sense.
Now here's a really clever one. The disk defragmenter. You ever notice how a computer can just get slower over time? A lot of the time, this is why. As you save and delete files, they get stored in scattered little pieces all over your hard disk. It's like a library where the pages of a single book are shelved on different floors. This utility is like a super patient librarian who goes through and puts all the pages back in the right order, which gives your system a really noticeable speed boost.
And finally, maybe the most critical utility of all, the antivirus program. This is your system's personal bodyguard, plain and simple. You can see some of the warning signs of an infection here, but really, this utility's job is to stop threats before they can do any damage. It stands guard 24/7, protecting your personal data and the overall health of your machine. It's a perfect example of how essential these utilities are.
So, we've met the whole crew. The system software director, the OS, and its specialized support team of utilities. It is an incredibly complex dance happening invisibly millions of times a second. So the next time you power on your device and it just works, maybe you'll think about that unsung hero running the show. And it makes you wonder, what other invisible systems are running our world? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.